Behind all the glamour,
Behind the Lux listings.
a raw take on all things real estate.
All things New York City.
All things us.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Today is our last episode of 2022.
Last podcast of the year.
So I'm Tim Malone,
And I'm Steve Cohen.
and thanks for listening to all of our episodes. But today we're going to talk about 2022, the good, the bad,
The ugly and everything in
Jesus,
between.
everything in between.
Let's start, though. Let's
Okay.
start with good.
Okay.
And last night,
Okay.
or yesterday,
Yeah.
the good that President Biden signed into law marriage equality. Pretty amazing, right? And
It
you
was
were there.
amazing. Yeah. And Don and I went down to
Right.
DC. I was with you guys on dinner Monday night.
That's
and
right.
then like shortly after that, in the middle of the night, we got the invite. We quickly made a decision to go. And I think we just thought it was so important to be there. And, you know, it was a little crazy with the travel, but really glad we went.
Yeah.
I think
It's a historic moment. It's amazing.
yeah, and just being in DC for something like that, you see how excited people were, and you know, I'm sure it came across on TV, but to feel the energy was really neat. So it was an exciting time and way to end 2022.
Yeah. End on a high note. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
And I think you also said there were no, listen, I know everyone isn't happy about this throughout our country, but God willing, the majority are.
yep.
But you said there were no protesters.
You didn't feel it, you didn't see it. You really just felt people were there to celebrate and kind of just take this sigh of like relief
Right.
that, you know, this act was put in and now, you know, marriage equality is the law of the land, which kind of crazy it took till 2022,
Yeah.
but, you know, glad it's here. And yeah, it was all good.
Good.
So
Cool. All right. So
now we're back and
back regrouping.
yeah. So let's start, I think 2022, let's start really high level.
Okay.
So if we go back like the last couple years, 2020, 2021 were pretty wild roller coaster years.
Yeah. We're still in, and now it seems, I know 3 people that got COVID in the last
Yeah.
2 days.
My parents are having a dinner tonight and
Yeah.
like 3 of their guests had to cancel.
Yeah. It's so actually physically getting COVID, but COVID,
Mhm.
the era of COVID, we're still in it.
I think we're in it and
yeah.
it's become a part of our lives.
Yes, that's right.
I was actually talking to my mom about this. Like, I think COVID is always going to be different than these other, whether it's the flu or strep or something, because we all have these tests in our back pocket.
Yeah.
And you feel sick, you test for COVID. And you know, and if you're a good person, if you test positive, I think
tell.
you just stay home.
It's also symbolic. You say COVID, like other pandemics in our country and history.
Sure.
We lived through this. We can say that, my God, we lost time
Yep.
and
Yep.
we lived in isolation for months on end.
Right.
It was more than just getting the flu.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think what 2022 represents for me is it's a year of sort of moving forward, getting back to normalcy, but also incorporating what we learned or took away from the COVID era.
Right.
And kind of how we're going to, you know, make our life as normal and get back to regular life, but keeping in mind some of the takeaways from 2020 and 2021.
Well, we're transitioning back.
Yep.
And in some ways you can never go back. And it's our new normal.
Yeah, and and there's some things I got to tell you, I love having hand sanitizer everywhere. Yeah, there's some good things, but
Okay.
I think life has, for the most part, I think it's gotten back to some sort of normalcy.
Normal. Well, if you look at New York City,
Yeah.
Broadway is back and
Yeah.
booming. You know, the people are pouring out of the theaters, pouring in and pouring out.
Totally.
And restaurants, it's tough to get reservations.
Yep.
And traffic and not getting cabs. We're back to that again.
The other night we were supposed to go, Saturday night we were at a holiday party and we were supposed to go downtown to another one. And I looked at on the apps, like the maps, and it was like 48 minutes to get downtown. And I was like, Subway, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
We're not going. Like, to be there for another 40 minutes. Traffic is crazy in New York City.
Yeah,
I think everyone's commenting on it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if more people are here or there's...
Well, I think it's I don't have the stats on it, but it's tourism season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the holiday season. People come to the city.
I mean, this seems like tourism on steroids. Like, it just seems like a lot of people are here.
There are crowds.
Yeah.
And traffic's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So 2022, there's also been so many monumental things. I think back to March with the outbreak of the war in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Don got that call and had to leave like the next night to go to Ukraine. And it was sort of like, even at that point, it was very unknown what that situation was going to be. I think the economy has been a huge news topic here.
Interest rates.
You were obsessed with the death of the Queen. You still are.
I won't even tell you what I watched last night, but yes.
I'm sure. That's like Steven's main hot topic of 2022.
Like I was there. I speak with authority on it. Yeah.
And then Don and I went as Harry and Meghan for Halloween.
Yes.
So that was a highlight.
That was great. Keeping with my theme of the royal family. Thank you for doing that. And now, of course, the new Netflix series.
I haven't watched
Meghan and Harry.
But
I've dipped in a bit.
I'm sure you have.
We'll save it for another time.
That'll be a full season, guys. What else? 2022. I think about, all the craziness with Twitter. Elon Musk taking over. For me, Twitter is just a communication platform, but it's kind of wild how he's now become, for the last couple of weeks, he's been like the main news topic and how he's really having a cultural impact. He went from, a CEO of Tesla to,
one of the richest men in the world. And
absolutely, but
Tesla.
he was never driving
he wasn't
that's impact as he is.
The
now
most was when he was on, Tesla, you could say that drives culture, a bit of culture, and he was on SNL.
Sure, but now
I remember when he was on SNL, I was like, oh, really?
Every tweet that guy makes right now is like, impacting.
It's news.
Yeah.
I think 2022, every year, the last few years, it rolls around to this time of year, which I love, and it's so festive and fun, but I'm so ready just to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we work so hard, we play hard, and life can be hard. Doesn't mean it's not good, just can be hard that I'm just ready for a rest by the end of the year. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think with, if we had to just tie it back to real estate, this year started off so incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And thank God we're ending the year strong, and ultimately we'll have a very good year.
Yeah.
It started strong, and then you talk about March, April, around that time, it's like a light switch went off and things just slowed down. They've started to pick up now, certainly.
Yeah.
November, December.
Yeah, I think professionally, this has probably been my hardest year just because, aside from 2020, but I think this one was just so
ups and
up and
downs.
down. Yeah. And it was quickly moving. It was amazing. Obviously our business is very tied to interest rates and mortgage rates, but I think how quickly everything changed, and not necessarily always bad, because the last couple weeks, as we've seen these ticks in mortgage rates go down.
Yeah. We've
been
seen transacting a lot more. Yeah,
exactly.
We've had a strong November. December will be strong.
Yeah, but I think one of the biggest takeaways for me this year has been just because things are moving so fast, is the importance of just really diving into the data and the current data. And that's something I think we talked about a lot and we've learned a lot.
And with the quick moving, data a few weeks old can make a big difference.
Right. And I think that's where, not to toot our own horn, but that's where good real estate agents are valuable, because we are living it every day. We see the changes. We know from week to week, from, the beginning of one week to the next, how much this market is changing, and the headlines don't do it. The data from second quarter doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's really important. Yeah. But okay, so let's get down to it. I want to know your three things: highs, your high, your low, and then something you would leave in 2022.
Ooh, my high.
Personal, professional, anything.
I think that I know that it felt like for a lot of people, including myself and my family, we did a lot of travel. We got back to travel in 2022. And so we did some great trips. And Kirk and I were in Israel in July for a friend's wedding and just had an amazing experience there after not having been there for 10 years and then picking up Lily at camp and going to Massachusetts. So I'd say travel was one of the highs and one of the lows. I would say, now I'm going to go to business. It would have to be a certain deal a big deal that I've been working on, still working on, and up and down, and it's on, it's off.
Yeah.
And who's involved with it, big players, big personalities on the seller side, on the buyer side, and just trying to bring that together. That's been, our business can be emotional.
Totally.
And people are buying property and they can get emotional. And I always say we have to keep the emotions between the lines. But it can be tiring. I'd say the other thing in this market, when you have to give bad news, it's always nice to tell people, hey, we got over your asking price, or we're getting you big numbers, or we have all these showings. It's a lot more, of course, more difficult to talk about, to deliver bad news. And we're just the messenger. But that's a lot of our job. And sometimes I have to just, take a deep breath and then make 4 calls that aren't necessarily pleasant, but
and we had to do, I think more so than the last couple of years, I think price adjustments and just, I think that is the tough part. But to me, the key is always communicating, and the more we're just communicating,
important.
It's definitely not fun. Who wants to deliver bad news?
No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And then what would I leave behind? 2022. Bad eating habits.
Oh.
How's that?
So you're not going to take those to 2023? Can everyone record this, please? Stephen is not going to bring bad eating habits to 2023.
I'm working on it, and I have a Zoom call with a dietitian on Friday.
Oh,
so
good.
There you go.
All right.
You go. All right. What about you?
So I think my high for 2022 is we threw a surprise party for Dawn's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Her 80th.
Yeah, that was great.
And it was like a crazy time. Dawn was transitioning from shows and life was just crazy, but we went down to Louisiana. We had like 70 people, her elementary school friends, her family, and it was just like pretty neat to pull it off, but also have everyone in the same room and kind of have that excitement and energy.
And she was surprised.
Oh, she was totally surprised.
When was this? Remind me.
It was in October. Yeah. And she thought she was going to dinner with just the two of us.
Right.
And
what was the lesson?
In true Dawn fashion, she was in like a sweater that he didn't love, and he like convinced her to put on a dress. It was funny. It was great.
For you and
for the party.
For the two of you.
Yeah. But it was great. It was fun.
But
and
what was your lesson? What did you say to me that you didn't realize when you were making all the plans? Do you remember?
No. What did I say?
It was an evening party, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We should have done it in the afternoon because it was a surprise 80th.
Right. And so some of her friends.
We had to do like Ubers and for all the guests. Right. And I didn't even think about nobody wanted to drive at night.
Right.
But again, it was my takeaway was just like, the details and organizing it all. But it's the important stuff in life. Like all the other stuff doesn't matter. And those memories are fun.
You're talking about the highlight of your year.
Yeah, I really think it was.
It's worth. I said to Lily last night, we're planning her bat mitzvah. She's got to do a lot of work and, emotions can get high. We're planning a party. She's practicing and working, and we're working on her ceremony. And I said to her, listen, I know you're stressed, but I promise you, we're all doing this together.
Yep.
Yes, it's your bat mitzvah, but you are going to be so proud. We're going to feel so proud, and it's going to be a wonderful day.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have obviously the experience and the years to look back and say, oh, I know when I worked hard on something, there are moments where you're like, oh, why are we doing all this?
Mm-hmm.
But then to your point, it's the highlight of your year.
Totally.
Yeah. Low point?
I think my low would probably be related to professional. I had my first co-op board turned down, which I think, those are always just a kick in the gut after working on a deal and just not understanding exactly why it happened.
Sometimes we do. Thank God we don't get a lot of them, but sometimes
for
we
me
do.
it was the first.
In this particular case, we actually went back to the board and tried to, get it reversed.
Yep.
And to this, we still don't really have an inkling why they were turned down. But the worst, yes, it's hard professionally, but the worst is delivering that. Talk about delivering hard news.
Yep. So that would be my low. And then what would I leave in 2022? I mean, I know what my New Year's resolution is going to be.
Can you share?
Yeah, I can share. I'm giving up alcohol.
Completely?
So for January, which I did in 2020, please. And that lasted for 14 months.
I was at dinner with these guys the other night, and I saw the wine keep coming. So,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like, So
you're just doing dry January.
I did dry January in
and
2020, and it lasted 14 months.
Okay.
So,
but your intention right now
my intention
is just
right now
dry
is,
January.
Yeah. And then a couple other things I'm giving up. Sugar and
Okay.
I need to get serious about some of this stuff.
Okay. Do you want to talk to my dietitian when I'm done?
Maybe I should be on your Zoom call. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm going to leave behind. And then, so my highs and lows. Yeah, we got it.
All right, cool. And what are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? I'm excited professionally for 2023. I mean, it'll be my 5th year in the business, and I do definitely know it's going to be a challenging year, but I think with challenge, there's opportunity. And even like we've seen the last 6-7 weeks, I think there's great opportunity. Yeah. So I think 2023 is going to be a good year.
I agree. I think professionally, I think for our team, there's a lot of growth.
Yep.
And we're changing some things up and looking at different ways to grow. So that's exciting. It's a little scary too.
Yep.
But just in terms of business, I think it will be a good year. But I think I hate to say it this way, I think it might be another hard year.
Yeah. So we made a good amount of changes with the team this year. Brought new people on, tweaked some things. I think, amplified marketing even more so than previous years, which I think we continuously do. What would be your biggest takeaway to like team growth and what we did right and what we could have done better?
I would say the two people sitting on the other side of the camera are two of our great additions. So Cyrus and Caroline. So I think we did that right. What would I do differently? I would communicate more and stay, during certain points, connected more.
Got it.
I think I'm pretty good at that, but I can point out times it's easy when it's slow, particularly in the summer, that everyone just kind of goes their own way, which is to be expected a little bit.
Yep.
But I would just say to stay a little bit more connected and communicate more.
Yeah. And then in terms of the industry in general, I think 2022, we saw a lot of, I think one thing in the industry is like these mergers. We're starting to see like massive teams join together. And, even before I got into the industry, it seemed like individuals were creating teams.
Yes.
Now it seems like teams are joining
teams, merging.
Teams are leaving brokerages and starting their own. That seems to be a theme of 2022.
So Tom Furry, who we coach with, Tom said a few years ago that all the individual brokers eventually,
right?
You'll have some, but
that
will disappear. You'll have teams, and you'll have mega teams, and then more SEAL teams, smaller teams. But that was his prediction, and we're seeing this come to fruition. Yeah, yep.
But what do you think that does for New York City specifically? These mega teams that are forming and teams that are breaking away from brokerages. I mean, to me, it does. It seems like it was a theme of 2022. We had some really big announcements.
Yep.
What do you think it has any impact on the New York City industry?
Yet to be seen, but I think it gives people other options and a different way of looking at our business and how they want to be in the business. I mean, in the old days, it used to be, for the most part, everyone was an individual broker or agent, and then you had a few teams, and then it became, should I join a team or should I just be an individual agent? Now, it's rare, very rare that you find someone new in the business that hasn't joined a team.
Right.
And I mean, I consider ourselves very lucky.
Yeah.
Monday night I looked around the table and we had a fun time celebrating the year. But just we're all individuals. Someone pointed out at the table that we all really have our own stories.
Yep.
And come from a pretty diverse background.
Yep, it's true.
And we work well together, and I think we support each other well, and through that, do best for our clients and our customers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, okay, what's your biggest takeaway real estate-wise from 2022? Because as I said, I think the year has just been...
Wow.
I mean, first quarter was gangbusters.
2021 into 2022, I mean, we thought...
I mean, it was bidding wars. It was
and we just thought like, oh my God, this year's, again, thank God, we're ending strong, and it's been a good year.
Yeah.
But that wave, we thought it was going to be like a tidal wave.
Right. And we saw the highs of the highs of in first and second quarter.
Yes.
Again, multiple offers, bidding wars on some deals, which, we hadn't seen in 2020 and the first half of 21. And then as mortgage rates impacted, things started to change. But
what's my takeaway? That like in life, there's always change.
Yeah.
And the better you are at pivoting and adapting, the better you are at surviving.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway. And there will be more change. And the older I get, the only certainty is that there's no certainty that there's always change.
I mean, we've seen that 100%. I think I don't know. The summer, this summer was sort of
like
quiet.
a normal summer. It felt like
and even quieter than a normal summer. But and then even the fall was.
Well, when I say normal, an old time, like an old summer where you really like had time to just go be away.
And then September, October, I think that's when we started to really hear other brokers and agents say like, "I'm slow."
Yeah, Well, I know
and the big sign
our
was
prediction.
Was.
So we said it got slow April, May.
Yeah.
Right. We thought, all right, we'll just have I remember saying to the team, enjoy it. Let's work on things we, don't normally work on.
Yeah.
And also enjoy and relax and enjoy the summer. And thinking September it would just kick in. Yeah. And it didn't kick in until November.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now
or
hopefully
end of October.
Continues through first quarter.
Second, third, fourth, and into 2024. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So what was your biggest advice you gave to clients like throughout this whole, because we've had clients that now, we've carried for the last couple of months. And, if you think about like deals that we had in 2022, deals that, my biggest takeaway, I think deals were very fragile this year. It seemed like,
yes,
I think it took a lot more nurturing and hand-holding, and buyers were fragile, sellers were fragile. It just seemed like everyone was.
That's a smart. I think you're right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there were buyers that were so gung-ho about buying a property, and you
had sellers getting a lot less than they were anticipating.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part of this year was don't chase the market down. Adjust your price before anyone else. I was giving that advice a lot.
Yeah.
And those that did, we saw it work out. Those that didn't, unfortunately, in some cases, they're getting offers lower than they had gotten and didn't accept.
Mm-hmm. And then on the buy side, I think it was always just make an offer, make an initial offer, and we'll start the conversation.
That's right. Yeah. There was a lot of hesitancy to make offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I think, I just think that the headlines, the stock market, the mortgage rates, it ended up scaring people. And, as a real estate agent and an advisor working with someone for week after week after week, and then, just the market could crash and all of a sudden they went on the sidelines.
Right.
It's, it's challenging. And I think that for us and other agents, that's the roller coaster of this job. And I think that 2022 really showed that, because it wasn't always bad and it wasn't always great. We kind of saw it all.
We saw it all.
Yeah.
We did. So Tim, you said the most often used line in business was just make an offer, right? In 2022. And then the most often used line just in life was, it's not COVID.
Yeah.
Anyone that had a cough, anyone when I was sick.
It's true.
It's not COVID.
I'm just sneezing.
Exactly. All right. So we're talking about 2023 coming up. You talked about your New Year's resolution. Do you do anything? Do you have any practice to plan for the year? Like we do a business plan. We're having lunch tomorrow and going over some things. But just in personal life or in business, you sit, you write it all down.
Yeah, I think I sit and write it down.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like kind of just visually looking at what I want in the year, which I think is important because I try to focus on all the different aspects of my life.
And you do. You're going through personal too.
Yep.
And you personally, and then relationship, and then
physical stuff, and working out and dieting, and financial and professional, and try to do it all. But yeah, I'm looking forward to 2023. I mean, I think I don't know, one big learning for me in 2022, and I think this is all related to 2020, is like really using time wisely. And I think that's been a lesson that I've tried to sort of put into action, is do the things I really want to do, be with the people I really want to be with. And,
were there people that did you find you were pulling back from certain things?
I mean, sure, there's always just craziness in life and running to different places and stuff. But I think now that we have nights free, in 6 years of being with Don, we never just had dinner at home on a Tuesday night together. Right. And it's so pretty funny. Crazy. Yeah. And I think when Don started working in the morning, we were like, oh, let's go to restaurants and we'll go here and we'll do this at night. And it's pretty great just to chill.
Oh my God. After a long day.
day. And
that's so funny. Your days,
it starts early and ends early.
You were though quieting down and he was just revving up.
Totally.
Yeah.
And everyone always asks how I've been with the change. And I did like having, there was something nice about having my evenings. But it's great.
I could always reach you. Now I'm like, are you busy?
Yeah. No.
So I used to, for years, we used to go to Palm Desert where my mother-in-law lives. That's where we'd spend our Christmas and winter vacation for a few weeks. And for years, my mom would come and we loved it. That was our tradition. Yeah. And we haven't done it in a few years, and I would always take a day and go myself to the Annenberg Estate, Sunnylands, which was, the Annenberg's incredible summer or winter retreat in Rancho Mirage. And they have a section, like a library section off of the main grounds. And they just have great books and a gift shop and a little cafe and a beautiful garden. And I would just sit literally for the day and just write out kind of what I was thankful for, what I'm looking forward to, go through my business plan, all that. And I would just sit literally for, a good at least half a day and do it. It was amazing. I still do it, but I miss that because I knew I'd have that designated alone time to do it. And so now I have to carve out time, and it's not like this block of time where I can just get in this headspace.
Right.
But I loved that. I love that. All right. So you guys are not, where are you going? You're traveling for New Year's.
Yeah. So we'll be with my family for Christmas. We're going out to Long Island, and then Don's going to do the show in New Orleans for New Year's Eve again.
So you'll go.
So I'll go.
Aren't you not allowed to drink on the show?
He's not allowed. Yeah.
He's not allowed, or everyone's not allowed?
Everyone's not allowed. Okay. Yeah. Well, I thought you meant me. I'm not going to be on. My big dilemma right now is getting the dogs to come with us, but with 3 dogs.
Why would you bring the dogs?
Why not?
Okay. That's a whole other topic. Yeah. Why would you bring the dogs to New Orleans?
I don't know, because I think it'll be fun, but
okay.
We'll see if that happens.
Sounds like extra work to me, but all right.
Yeah, so the holidays should be fun. And
so you'll be out east until you go away.
Until we go away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you guys when do you leave?
We're leaving Thursday evening, the 22nd. Okay. Kirk, myself, and the girls, we're going to Israel again. Haven't been in 10 years, and now twice in 6 months. We have our friends, the Siegels, their daughter's bat mitzvah, and a lot of friends with their kids are going over, and it's one of Lily's best friends. So I'm excited because Israel's very near and dear to me, and obviously I used to live there, and I've traveled there so many times. But to be there with my girls for the first time is very special to me. So I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. All right. So this is a wrap.
This is a wrap. Season 1, 2022.
Season 1, we did it.
We did it.
We were a little hesitant.
Yeah.
You were more than me, but we got through it. This is our podcast, Real Talk. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to follow us, I'm at Stephen Cohen NY on Instagram.
And I am Tim P. Malone NYC on Instagram.
And we'll see you January 12th for our next episode, the first of our second season of Real Talk. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.